Okay. This is not a medieval torture device. This is how you got rid of vagrants or the homeless or tramps. Tramp chair. All right, these came out of Oakland, California. That's right, this is what towns used when they couldn't afford a jail. Stick someone in this, drag them to the edge of town. There you go. Finest in suspension. Oh yeah, stick a tramp, transient, hobo, whatever you want to call them. There you go. That's what you call the good old days. Okay. All right, I'm back. So I found an article from May 1899 about Mr. Baker's chair. So let's read it, because it's Mr. Baker talking about the benefits of a terrible chair that resembles a medieval torture device. And that's the illustration. There you go. That's the illustration they had in the newspaper. All right, so this is Mr. Baker himself describing why you need a medieval torture device in your town. Okay, Oakland, Maine. Oh, it wasn't California, it was Maine. Oakland, Maine. Sorry. The genus tramp has become an extinct animal in this locality since the adoption by the town authorities of the tramp chair, of which I am the proud inventor. My pride is, I think, a pardonable one, for I live in a town that for years suffered abominably from the hobo nuisance. The Wandering Willie fraternity at times, in fact, became an unmitigated and dangerous evil and drove us to adopt extreme measures or be at the mercy of the vagabond loafer. Inspired with a desire to find means of freeing from this nuisance the community in which I was most interested, I set my wits to work and evolved the tramp chair, which I will describe. It's simply a strongly built cage in the form of a chair on wheels. It is so constructed that the occupant must remain perfectly quiet in a sitting position. A shelf is placed near the top for food, and the contrivance can be handed about from place to place at will. The chief peculiarity of the chair lies at its door. When used as a method of punishment, the culprit is obliged to enter it and sit down. The door, which is so constructed that it follows the lines of the chair, is then closed and locked, and the victim is confined as firmly as though he were glued to the seat. Another peculiar thing about the chair is that when the door is locked, he cannot draw his feet up or move any part of his body enough to obtain rest. The chair resembles some of the ancient instruments of torture used by the Inquisition, in being only moderately formidable as to appearance, but a terror to those who are forced to spend only a few hours within its confines. When I first introduced the chair to my surprised townspeople, attempt after attempt was made to induce someone to sit in the chair as an experiment, but no one seemed to be willing to go back far enough in puritanic days to allow himself to become a subject. As a last resort to show its workings, by the assistance of a $5 bill, I persuaded one man to enter the chair and remain there for 2.5 hours. The victim remained in the chair for the length of time agreed, but at the end of his penance grasped the money with such alacrity that it was shown he considered he had earned the reward many times over. Though the experiment, it was shown that I had substantiated one of my claims, that no man could remain in the chair for any length of time, and when he was out of the chair, say that he had been thoroughly comfortable, or that he would be willing to repeat the experiment, even with a money consideration as the reward for the time he had spent doing nothing. The suggestion of doing nothing is one of the strong points of the tramp chair idea. For the true hobo spends his life in studying new ways and means of accomplishing that greatest desire of his lazy soul, absolute inaction. To be wheeled about in a chair like a big baby seems to him to be the acme of slothful ease. He steps in for his first ride in the chair with alacrity, finds it not unpleasant for about the first 10 minutes, then begins to feel uncomfortable, gets cramped, and finds his bones aching. And before the end of an hour's ride, he is yelling murder and dynamite and promising all kinds of reformation if only he can get out. When his punishment is over and he's finally released, the tramp makes a beeline for the open country and thenceforth comes nowhere near the town that chairs its tramps or tramp guests through the streets. I hope someday to get the Maine legislature to adopt the tramp chair punishment for use throughout the state. Sorry about that. People are calling me for taxi rides. It is a sure cure in every case. 2 tramp chairs have been in the Oakland lockup for some time. In proof of their usefulness, I quote 2 reports, one from Augusta, neighboring town, and one from Oakland. On February 3rd, 1899, the following report was printed in Augusta. Quote, City Marshal, Morse gave a night's lodging to 275 wanderers during the month of January, 30 having been sheltered on a single night. The Oakland report for February 1st, 1899 says, a tramp was given lodging in the lockup Sunday night. Oakland has been quite free from tramps this winter, this being the first that has been asked for lodging for several months. Okay, I'm going to go back up to the top of the page here. Just think of the difference. 275 tramps in one short month in Augusta and only 1 here in Oakland, where the tramp chair was invented and kept on exhibition in our lockup for tramps to look at. It looks as though the chair had surely got the best of the tramps. In a number of cases, reliable men have told me that the tramps inquired in their hearing what town this was, and on being told it was Oakland, said, "What? Is this where that tramp chair is?" The bystander told them it was. "Well then," he answered the tramp, "we will not stop here," and went on. Our lawmakers have racked their brains for the last 15 years to make laws that would drive the tramp from Maine, but everything except the tramp chair has proven a failure. I will pay any man or woman $100 if they produce one tramp that I cannot cure of tramping, if I can have control of the case. The tramp chair is the only thing ever invented by mortal man that tramp ever feared. Not even powder and ball, for the 2 can play that game, and with the chair only 1. A tramp is a man traveling, pretending to be looking for work and praying to God all the time he may never find it. As long as the tramp is looking for a job, just invite him to sit in the chair instead of sawing wood to pay for food and lodging. 2.5 hours at a time, and see if he wants to repeat the experiment. The tramp tax of the 16 counties of Maine in the year 1898, according to the state report, amounted to $64,508. Just think of the enormous expense to each county that has villages and a large population. Nearly 1/3 of all our county tax is to pay for tramps' board for 13 or 14 weeks in jail every year. Jail is the tramp's home in winter. This has been proved by the county reports of 2 of our counties that have no jails, Piscataquis and Sagadahoc. They have no tramps in winter because they have no jails. Consequently, the tramps keep clear of these two counties in winter because they have no jails, and goes to his winter home in some other county where the jailer smacks his chops at the sight of his powerful leader, the tramp. The man the county towns to send to jail in hopes of getting rid of them. A few weeks, even at the enormous tax that must be levied on the taxpayer and must be paid in money. Isn't that a potent argument in favor of my tramp chair? Anything more that I can do to aid the people in getting rid of tramps will be cheerfully done. Sanford Baker. Okay. All right, that's the Los Angeles Herald. 21 May 1899. Okay, well, that's Sanford Baker extolling the virtues of his medieval torture device. 1899. Oh boy. All right. So that's the story of Mr. Baker and his chair. All right. So this is Drew here in Maine. All right. Thanks a lot. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.